And now it's time for our first segment for today. We'll be talking about the tourism industry, which is one of the most important industries, so vulnerable, easily affected by anything that takes place around. When it comes to tourism, we have a lot of people working in this sector, millions of people. They are affected directly and indirectly. And the people who are really affected also are the tour guides, and they are directly and indirectly, they are part of the tourism industry. Well, today we have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Tarek Swelim. He's art historian and tour guide, and I think he's the best person to tell us more about tour guides here in Egypt. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, first of all, I want to start with the role of and the responsibilities of the tour guide. We all know that the tour guide is an ambassador to his country. So what are the role and the responsibilities of him?
First of all, a tour that comes to Egypt is only successful with the tour guide. If the tour guide is not good or is not interested, then the whole thing doesn't work well. Of course, people come to Egypt to see the country, and the first person that they meet is the tour guide, apart from the transfermen and all the people in the operation. Mm-hmm. But the tour guide is the one who talks to the people, and he's always telling them the information that they should know, and gives the impression about the country that they are visiting. If the tour guide is, for example, has a problem and is not in a good mood, can do a lousy job, and therefore, if they go to the pyramids and the tour guide is not in a good mood,
you will not enjoy
the tour will be totally uncomfortable, or will always be remembered as an unpleasant day. Mm-hmm. So first of all, the tour guide has to remove himself from his personal affairs and concentrate and focus with the people, mm-hmm, as much as possible. And remember that the people, the tourists, are his main source of income. So it's a personal thing, and it's also a national thing. Mm-hmm. So the tour guide has to give knowledge, not only about the history and about the architecture or whatever, but he has to give knowledge about the people and the culture and all the
everything about the country,
all the traditions about the country. Mm-hmm. The problem is that when there is something negative that is there, and the tour guide has to talk about it,
he will be in the front.
He is going to be at the front. So, for example, we drive to the pyramids, or we go to one of these wonderful sites, and we see a lot of garbage. Mm-hmm. So why do you have all this garbage?
Of course, you're put in such situations. Tell us more about the situation.
So what can you talk? I mean, garbage. For example, in the past, like maybe 5 years ago, we used to talk to the people about the problems that we have. Problems of money, problems of following up, garbage collection, mm-hmm, people knowing about that they have to remove the stuff from their and be a little bit cleaner. But nowadays it's getting a little bit embarrassing for a tour guide to be talking about the greatness of architecture and history and the past, and then you see what's going on, and nobody's really giving attention to that. Mm-hmm. And that is a very hard part for a tour guide to face. Usually, it's known that the impression that people take about the tour guide is that he's having fun all the time, because he's going out with nice people. He has nice functions, nice dinners, nice lunches, glamorous people all the time. People are coming to have a good time, therefore he's having a better time as well. He's making a lot of money and all of that. But at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility that the guide is under such pressure all the time. He's always on the spot. Mm-hmm. And being on the spot is not an easy thing.
Of course.
An actor can be on the spot, but it's his job to be on the spot. And an actor can always be part. He says, for example, today I'm going to have that particular function, and I'm going to be in that particular show, and I'm going to show myself in that particular situation. It's easy for an actor. For a guide, it's not 1 hour, but it is maybe 12 to 14 hours a day that he's always on the spot.
Doctor, usually people, when they think about people working in tourism, you tackled something very important, that they are having fun. Not only the tour guides, but all of the people, they are in beautiful places, they are enjoying themselves. But of course, because I worked in this sector, it is not like this at all. But let me ask you about...
Part of it is like that.
No. No, most of it, no. Even sometimes they think about the animators, for example, they are enjoying. They are not enjoying at all. They are working hard job.
Everybody's working hard.
Yes. So when it comes to the tour guides, let me ask you about the qualifications of the tour guide himself, because we have many tour guides, and just as you mentioned, for example, the way he's explaining the history to some of the people. I witnessed myself, for example, there are some tour guides who will explain a lot of things, and at the end the people will just take some few information, and there are others who can give them some interesting stories. They will let them love the place and come back to this place. Tell us more about the qualifications of a tour guide.
Qualifications of a tour guide is
Can anyone
knowing.
work this job?
I don't think that anyone can do this job, because it has to do a lot with character first, and then it has to do with knowledge. But to have knowledge is your own problem. The problem is, and the trick here is to get this knowledge and transmit it to somebody who has no idea
That's
about anything.
the delivering of
Yeah,
the message.
and how you do it. So, for example, you have all this knowledge about a certain site, and then you have a little kid with you. I mean, a family, and they have little kids with them. The focus should be to the kid. Do that focus, the whole family and the whole tour will enjoy it very much. So what are you going to tell the kid? You have to tell him something exciting, something thrilling, something that is... You have to see the eyes glittering. If you don't see the eyes glittering, and if you don't see that that response in their eyes...
So he's bored.
Bored, and he can spoil the tour for his parents. So it is so much knowledge, that's kind of information, or that amount of information that is given, and that's it. Now, if somebody, or for example a layman, somebody who's not very well educated, can be with you on a tour, that's fine, he's coming to have fun. He can talk, you can just give him a little bit of knowledge, but in a nice way. And then if he wants to know more, then he will ask you. And it's always nice to have tourists running after you asking questions, because the more they ask questions, then the more the whole group understands, and there is much more interaction with the group.
So I wanted to focus on a very important thing, which is the tour guides and the problems they are facing at the current period. As you said minutes ago, that the tour guides depend mainly on the tourists. Okay, so of course...
That's the most important.
Yeah, of course.
Tourists have to come.
Yeah, I know. And tourists, the country is passing through a very critical period, and tourism now is badly affected with what's happening.
The worst period in our history.
I know.
Yeah.
So how this is reflected on the tour guides?
We stay at home, but we still have to pay the bills.
Problem, a main problem.
And any, talking about very quickly, do you see a solution out of this, or how can we recover? Because I believe that we don't have time to waste. We need to start. Maybe we're starting the year 2013. Let's be optimistic. How can we act and react to what is going on?
It's basically politics, and then it is security.
Did we miss the winter season?
It's finished. It's gone. We are now looking at 2014, because 2013 is already done, and there are so many incredible cancellations. So now we are looking towards 2014. If anything is going to come up with it, anything is going to materialize.
But what about the tour guides?
They stay at home. What are they going to do? or they find other jobs. If they find other jobs, it's very good.
And what's the syndicate doing for them?
No, the syndicate is there for example, if a guide has a problem, things like that. I mean, but the syndicate does not go and get the tourists. The most important thing is that you go and have the tourists staying at home somewhere in Southern California, watching TV after his dinner with his family, and the family decides to come to Egypt. Yes or no? Okay. What they see on TV, of course,
No.
it's going to be, they're going to doubt coming. They're going to be a little bit reluctant to coming. If things are fine as they used to be before, I mean, security-wise, then of course they would come with pleasure. But everybody loves Egypt, actually. I mean, Egypt is one of the most attractive countries in the world.
Yes, let's be optimistic, and I want you to
Yeah.
conclude with a message to our viewers, whoever is watching us right now. I'm talking about abroad, of course.
Abroad?
Yes.
No, abroad, I mean, it will always be the security. Egypt is Egyptians. I mean, they will never change. Egyptians are kind people. Egyptians are good people. Egyptians are friendly people and warm. And Egyptians like tourists. And tourists, from an Egyptian point of view, are a very important source of income that makes the country progress and develop and leap to a wonderful future. And this is
So
what
just the
Egyptians know.
message will be, come to Egypt, you will enjoy a lot of things, and whatever you will find in Egypt, you will never find it elsewhere. Dr. Tarek Swelim, art historian and tour guide, thank you very much for
It
joining
was a
us.
pleasure,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
And now moving on to check out together more about the sports roundup of the year 2012, and we'll be back.